Welcome back to our attendees. Our next speaker, Mr. Nasser Saif Nasser Al Mahrooqi, Petroleum Data and Analytic Manager at the Petroleum Development Oman. Speaking on today's topic, Future Dynamic Workforce, Harvesting the Potential of Human Capital. Over to you, Mr. Nasser.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. Melvin, I think the first thing what I would like to say, appreciate to be given this opportunity by you guys and being part of this journey. And, it's the second time now I'm attending it. I could see days move on, it becomes more and more interesting and more pulling it. So you guys, you're doing a great job. Continue doing it. I think pulling is these professional people in one forum and share these, the challenges of the industry where we're going forward is amazing. I've been watching most of the presentation since at the beginning. Now, you may see my presentation a bit different. I could see a lot of presentation, they focus more on technology. My presentation focus on the element which is the key components of success in moving forward, is about human capital. How do we invest on a human capital? Celebrating the success of today by making sure that we align with the future demands and we develop our people where they can respond in the future. Now, working in PDO for the past 23 years in data and analytics, and also as an advisor to the Minister of Transport, Communication and Information Technology, we have established a forum led by Undersecretary for the Minister of Transport, Communication and the Information Technology to look into the future skill set. What do we need to do it to prepare our young workforces and making sure that there's an alignment from the demand requirements from the industry in alignment with the research and also the academia. So the focus is on a human capital management, capitalize the success of today and really looking into the future challenges. Now, we understand and we know what is going on, especially in the many dimensions of the landscape which are evolving. One of them is the fourth industrial revolution, 4IR, and the other one is about the energy industry landscape. Now, all of these comes up with the pride on it because the industry is moving it, and it is important for us to understand and to be aligned in a way that we acquire this new skill set that where the business is evolving it and also embed it as part of the ways of working. We know definitely there will be a disruption. Already disruption is happening at the workforces where we need to produce value to our shareholders, and also we understand there will be changes in the workforce transition. There will be some of the jobs will be disappearing it, some of the jobs will be emerging it, and it is our duty to look into upskilling and reskilling program. Definitely. Changing where the workforce is happening it. There are new capability are happening it. There will be changing of the learning approach. There will be changing on our business model. And if we cannot adopt into these, then we will not be able to survive in the 21st century. Now, the first thing what we need to do it, this world is integrated. We cannot work on isolation. It is vital and important to understand what is going on globally. There are many entities which are driving to understand what is going on globally in the areas of interpersonal skills, in the areas of innovations, the business model, in the areas of technology and the data skills. Now, it has given us an opportunity to look into those areas and say, these are the statistics which are needed to be embedded into what we do today, but also these are the statistics which are needed for us to see how the industry is evolving. And you could see it already. Certain areas like the statistic which we see, one of the UK companies is, you could see it already. Some of the jobs like admin jobs, the support jobs, the data management jobs, a lot of these activities will be either disappearing it or will be, done in a different way. And we could see it in terms of data loading, areas like automation will take in place. In terms of data quality, the AI could play a bigger role. Now, all of these are evolving. It is an innovation, it is a dynamic environment, and it is important for us to align with that dynamic environment so we can contribute into the transformation of the industry. But equally important, for the jobs where are disappearing, it is our responsibility to develop those individuals so they can acquire a new skill set. They become the workforce of the future. That led to PDO developing a competitive and a sustainable model. And this competitive and sustainable model has got five key dimensions in the area of developing data and analytics as a pillar, which really not started from an enabler of the business and become as a pillar contributing into the economic growth of the country, which is mostly into the areas of job creations of individual or the group who are coming over from the university, and also requires the different skill set where they can contribute into transformation journey in the industry. Now, these key areas: workforce dynamic, because we know the changes; the technology evolutions, because we know where it's going it, and how do we invest in research and development, develop competitive advantage where we take a lead on technology, is how we govern it. The governance is mostly, I'm talking about, is not about controlling it. It's about bringing collaborations. It's about, emphasizing on innovation, creativity, and assure this data-driven innovation that they complement it on what we've been doing it in the past. Also, having a disciplined organization, and the most important way I could emphasize is the market intelligence. Explore and assess the market on specifically on digital technology, where is my core business, but this does not stop us looking into how digital contribute into renewable energy, how we utilize energy more effectively, and how we maximize what we do have in place, but also having the data maybe we don't capture today, which are coming up as part of the renewable energy, like hydrogen, the solar energy, and so on and so forth. But also, we start looking into the policies. Are the policies of today able to support the dynamic of the future? And so on. That's where I work very closely with the government authority to align and making sure these alignments, they are in place, which will contribute into the transformation. Now today, my focus is more specifically on the workforce dynamic. Now, on the workforce dynamic, the first thing you could see there is business driven. It addresses the business need. It is about identifying what are the gaps in the business and reprioritizing those business needs where digital play a bigger role as an enabler of it. And the most important, what I could say is, we do not segregate between conventional technology and digital, because the digital is an element which contributes to conventional technology. Now, PDO developed a framework, and this framework, which has got sustainable model, and looking into the lowest level into the organization, what are the changes that needed to drive this transformation journey? And mostly what we would be looking at it, these not limited, there are 4 components today where we're looking at it. It's about our competences. Do we have the framework of today that able to respond to the future? It's about investment on the coaching. It is about the training, and it is about the culture. Culture changes to be able to sustain and to be able to drive lifelong learning and also self-learning innovation. Now, I remember, if I look at myself being in the company for many years, I never believed that most of the trainings could be done online. COVID-19 has changed completely the way how we run our business today. And this is the culture which we need to build it, which has got a dynamic and looking into managing uncertainties which maybe we did not see in the past. Now, in the competence areas, we developed the competences, and we call these competences the 4 key components that are needed to drive the changes in the organization that will require the new skills. Things like the big data fundamentals, the big data technology, the value expectation. What methodology do we use it to analyze the business, identifying what are the opportunities? And then big data engineering, creating the solution using data. And then the last one is whenever you create a solution, how you create value. Demonstrate the value through visualization and communication. Now, these are the key components we look at it. And when you look on the outer cycle, is mostly all of these are linked into the business processes. It means there are business processes specific on a convention technology where the digital play a bigger role. And we looked into this dimension is mostly you're looking into what are the gap to potential, production focus, in-house capability, reducing the OPEX, and so on and so forth. And also sweating the assets, integrity of our equipment. They have been in operation over 50 years. You want to sweat it, but you do not compromise with the safety. The new area, energy components, where we're talking about energy review, the GSG, the targets which we're talking about the net zero emission by 2050. We need to align it, making sure that these are aligned and the transition is happening while you build the new capability to make sure that we harvest the potential of the human capital and making sure they align with the future needs of the industry. Now, in that area, a bit of more areas specific on the competencies, because this is the key components of it. So areas like big data, what do we mean? The ecosystem, the integrations, the data management, the 7 V's, the value we created. Technology is about 4IR technology, the cloud computing, Hadoop, robotics, and so on and so forth. Value creation, where are the areas where if we create a solution, we're going to create more value there? We are changing from cost-driven organization to cost-value realization organization. You may spend $1 million on a digital technology, but the value you create is $10 million. So let's open the door for this type of technology, be given an opportunity where you see the value is created. And this value will be created through communication and visualization. But also, the areas where we're looking at it is having a commercial mindset. The world is changing. The funds are limited. The dynamic of our environment is changing it. The resources are constrained. The budget is constrained. It's new ways of working. Looking into what are the enabler which bring efficiency, cost saving into our organization in the areas of operation excellence, asset integrity, and also production excellence. Now, we looked at it into our core competence today, and we realized the competencies which we do have today were not able to respond to the future. Now, we came up with the competencies which I have elaborated in the past, and we mapped these competencies into the future jobs, into the technology evolutions, and into the future skills. Now you could see what is highlighted more on the reddish color. It means these are the areas where we need to focus on it, and where we need to build the proof points to make sure that these skill sets are acquired. But at the end of the day, my core team, which is about data and analytics, these are the competencies. But also, it's equally important to bring the changes into the whole of our organization. So we cropped the key areas, and we are looking at it in most important to say how we bridge the gap between our customers who are subsurface engineer and indeed our core team where we work on developing the solution to support our business. And mostly we come up with our plan, and mostly the plan to raise an awareness at the first year. The second year is to bring into the knowledge level, and the third and fourth year to bring the skill set where we can do it ourselves in-house within our own resources. Now, in doing so, we said that's one component, competencies. Also looking into the coaching. The coaching of of today, where we work on it, is focusing more on the technical coaches. We bring the dimension of advanced coaching using a 70-20-10 on specifically in the areas of social skills, critical thinking, innovation, creativity, competitive advantage, and so on and so forth. So these are the key components which we're looking at it on establishing, a coaching framework where the coachee and coach establish a framework where they come up with the goals and the project which are executed while learning, while also delivering the business plan. The next one is about the training. Information is available. Identifying opportunities and the gaps in the business, where training becomes a bigger role as an enabler to bring that skill set. But the most important, we invest more on the areas of 70-20 is mostly on job training to make sure the skill sets are acquired. And these skill sets being acquired, they are specific into the areas where the business is delivering it. And a 4-box model, we use it with a lot of information from everywhere, where we integrate it, making sure it is the one-stop shop for the training for all our data and analytics professionals. The other area is about the culture enforcement, is to push the culture of self-learning than company-directed learning. People start having innovation, finding information themselves, making sure this, alignment between industry, the research and academia is well aligned, that we are addressing the key components of the business challenge. So culture, most of the time is left it. Culture is something where I enjoy. Culture is not something where you can measure it. You need to create activities where you see the changes of the culture that create value into the organization. And these are really the key 4 components which we look at it. And where we've done it, we start developing, a 5-year plan by recognize what has been done in the past, but also looking into what are the futures. What is the future and what is it evolving, on building the capability and the future skill set of what. And this is mostly to build a foundation, to establish a center where the core components of these are within the center, while they are pushed to, to the asset, and making sure that the integration collaboration is happening. And we will continue to optimize our processes and developing a blueprint where these will be used as part of the input for the 2040 vision of the country. Build the excellence and also moving on in terms of, sustainability. And this is mostly, I could say, is my presentation, because it's a lot of information there, but I think I could say I'm limiting into that because of the time frame. And you are welcome to contact me if any information is needed. And back to Melvin, please.
Thank you, Mr. Nasser. So we are looking at human capital with technology blended in the pandemic. So how is the for PDO, for example, we remember there was a new cybersecurity center also, which was up, I think, last year.
Yeah.
So how's that coming along, sir?
I think one of the area where I could see the transformation is happening in PDO is the cybersecurity, mostly seen as the external protection, but also as an internal awareness. And in the past, not only in PDO, in many organizations, where people are looking at information risk management as a blocker into our business, I could see that integration and communication on, awareness and the training, and saying that information or the data protection is the responsibility of everybody. Now, this is happening because the culture changes. And that's why the element of the culture most of the time is, if it's not looked at it, you realize that things are not happening. Now, you could see, you need to strike the balance between information risk management and innovation. If you do not if you focus on one area where you establish a strong governance which limits the innovation, then things may not move on the direction where you're looking at. So I would see the integration being part of the process, the business process, cybersecurity or information risk management. It is the key success of today, where you see it takes us into the 21st century.
Thank you, Mr. Nasser, for your time and presentation. And inshallah, we meet next time in a physical event.
Definitely, you're welcome. You're welcome to visit. And it's my pleasure being with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Shukran.
Super.